You're listening to the Outstanding Life Podcast with your host, Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. As a motivational speaker, Johnny D impacts audiences around the world with his message of living the outstanding life. He's a best-selling author, MC, and two-time Grammy-considered artist. This podcast is a place where Johnny D can introduce you to his outstanding friends and share funny, interesting, and heart-provoking stories. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Here comes your host, Johnny D.
Hey everybody, I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Outstanding Life Podcast. Want to say a big hello to all my friends tuning in on Dirt Road Radio, KYDT 103.1 FM and KBFS 1450 AM. Today we're diving into something truly special, a behind-the-scenes look at the very first High Performance Expo 2025 with the visionary himself, Dr. Jamie Meyer. From bold ideas to breakthrough moments, we're talking wins, team building, and where this movement is headed next. Whether you were there in person or just hearing about it now, this episode is packed with energy, inspiration, and a whole lot of heart. Let's jump in and find out what it takes to create something outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jamie Meyer. Dr. Jamie Meyer, how are you?
Johnny, thank you for having me, man. This is fun. We've known each other for years, but let's have a sit down and see what's going on with you.
The first time on the big stage. You've been on a lot of stages, but not this one.
No, I'm humbled. I wore my favorite T-shirt, so let's go.
I want to talk about HPX, the High Performance Expo here from 2025, and the listeners on radio have got to listen to all the advertisements for the last 5 months, and we finally had the expo, and man, what a great time it was. I'm going to kick things off with, how are you feeling now that the very first HPX Expo is in the books? Are you able to breathe now?
Yeah, no, how do I feel? I guess I haven't really analyzed that, but I thought the show was great. I thought it was risky, right? We got great trade shows in the automotive aftermarket. The auto shows have suffered a little bit, and then there's segments of the industry that really hadn't been cared for. I feel really happy, really pleased that folks like you came to the show and came together. We have got a group of folks that can't wait to go to High Performance Expo number 2 in June next year. Of course, we got things we can do to improve it. We got to reach more people, all those things that are on the to-do list immediately. But High Performance Expo was great, and I'm looking forward to building another one.
Let's take it back to day one. What was going through your mind when the doors opened and the very first guest walked in? I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
We had an awesome opening session with the folks from Hendrick Motorsports, and I'd love to get your take on that because you're close to those guys. But my good friend Alba Cologne helped put everything together for Hendrick, and we had this incredible start to the High Performance Expo. Then we went down on the floor, but Johnny, it really hit me probably Saturday or Sunday when folks were getting set up, and this was a concept 2 years ago that I worked with Jen Hoff, the owner of the High Performance Expo, on, and to see it come to life, really surreal. I mean, I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life. When I talk about things that I've done in my career, I'm going to say High Performance Expo. It was awesome. We did it.
For the people that don't know, what is the High Performance Expo?
Yeah, the concept for the expo was there's a lot of things going on in the auto industry that are super interesting, right? The industry itself, the new vehicle manufacturers, all the accessories and upfitters, then the automotive aftermarket folks that cater to crazy people that love to modify cars and make them their own and make them perform better. And then the motorsports industry in general. How do you bring all that together? There is a real calling for just a B2B trade show, meaning just business operators, business owners come together, learn, expand, talk to distributors, talk to manufacturers, and grow businesses. So that was the group that we tried to focus on. It's broad, Johnny, but it's folks that want to grow their business in the automotive aftermarket.
One thing that I thought was really cool, I've been to a lot of expos, but it was kind of nice that everything started early and people could actually go to the breakout sessions before they had to go hit the floor. Whose idea was that?
I mean, that's a tactical trade show decision, and the team at the High Performance Expo, there's car enthusiasts like you that help shape this thing, but there's also these trade show experts that have put on really big trade shows for other industries, right? So we got to tap into this knowledge, and hey, we tried this with a cryptocurrency trade show, or we did this with an architectural trade show. Should we try this with the auto industry? So strategically, to answer your question, it was, let's do the educational program in the morning, let people go learn something. There's no pressure. The show would open after or after. Tactically, it draws a little bit of a crowd, so you get that little rush to the floor at 10 o'clock when we open. I think we'll change it up a little bit. As it turns out, 8 o'clock's a little early for car guys and gals. Or they had late nights prior, Johnny. I don't want to comment which way it went. We're just saying we heard in the feedback that 8 o'clock was a little early.
Yeah. You know, something that happened even before Tuesday is on Monday, you had the Women's Summit. I know that it's okay next year to walk in. When they said the Women's Summit, I was like, I am not walking in there because that's going to be, 50, 60 women, and they're going to look and say, what the heck's he doing here? But I heard that was amazing. Did you hear the same thing?
Yeah, the Women Empowerment Program was awesome. I was brave enough to walk in at the tail end just to say congratulations. It was a great session. We had female executives from all across the industry. Yeah. Hardcore racers. Again, Alba Cologne is in there. She's got an amazing story, right? You've got executives in the room from NASCAR, from BMW, small entrepreneurials that are owned by ladies. I think, Johnny, one of the secrets to the High Performance Expo that we probably haven't talked about enough is it's a lady-owned company, and the entire trade show management team is ladies that have done this for decades. Yeah. And they knew from other industries that, hey, there's women like them that would like to get together, talk about strategies, how do women grow in what can be tough environments. You and I see it all the time, right? Male-dominated industry. Right. I probably don't think about it enough. I'll be real candid with you. I've been around really talented ladies when I was at General Motors and then later in my career, so I probably don't think about it enough. But when they started planning this, I'm like, I think it's wonderful. And you're going to see more of that. You're going to see, the High Performance Expo continue to cater to women that want to be more successful in the auto industry.
What inspired the idea for HPX? Did you just wake up one day and say, you know what? I think I'm going to give this thing a shot. Or is it something that you saw that happen and somebody came to you? How did it all come together? What inspired you and your team to do this?
I'll answer this by saying I think SEMA and PRI are awesome, right? I'm very heavily involved in SEMA. I think it's a great organization. Those shows will go on forever, but there are areas of the country, areas of the world, segments of the industry that wanted something different. Mm-hmm. I kind of knew that, and then I just had a chance meeting with Jen Hoff, who is this really inspirational lady who has run all these trade shows, and we just started talking about the things that she was doing and seeing in other industries. I've been pretty consistent in saying I was more worried about new vehicle auto shows. And, like when I saw the Geneva show go away, that was a 125-year-old show. Detroit has been really struggling to put on an automotive show, which is just it blows my mind. So there was a chance there with Jen. And then she taught me a lot about just what it takes to launch a trade show and what we're really talking about, the scope of this thing, and finding the right communities and the right ambassadors to move forward. And there's only one organization that could help us, which is the North Carolina Motorsports Association. I know this intimately well. There's no other organization like NCMA. And when we approached them with the concept, they really got behind it. And you saw that because you were on the floor. Yeah. Right? But when you have Rick Hendrick send his top generals to this show, his very best people leaders, like people have to understand J.B. Brown, who runs 132 dealerships for Rick Hendrick. Jeff Gordon, who I don't need to, you know his resume better than I do. I just think of the incredible business talent. That's who kicked off this show.
Yeah, Jeff Andrews was there.
Jeff Andrews, who was a huge part of this, really placing his people in the right positions and making
he was happy to be there. That was the cool thing. Like, there wasn't a person on that floor that was like, oh, I have to go and do this thing. Like, they wanted to be a part of it. I mean, I'm getting chills just thinking about how incredible that was.
Yeah, I had a moment on Wednesday, which is right before the educational program kicked off, and the Driveline studio guys were setting up to film stuff and take pictures, and I was like, how's the show going for you guys? And they told me this creative, artistic answer, which I really hadn't anticipated, and it was, hey, we're trained to take pictures of smiling people. And we don't have any problem at the High Performance Expo. Like, everybody is in a really good mood, and everybody is happy, and they're really enjoying being together. And I was like, wow, like, as a brand, I'll take that all day long, right? If you come to an event that I'm involved with and you're having a good time and doing business, we've got a winning formula here.
Dr. Jamie Meyer, I have to tell you, I had one of those little kid moments, and you'll understand when I saw Jeff Andrews, and I just got done doing an interview with Elba. I did an interview with Ryan. He was the top engineer for the 17 Xfinity car. And Ryan says to me, he's like, well, there's Jeff Andrews. I mean, he's the president of. I go, I know who he is. And and he goes, well, would you want to do an interview with him? Dr. Jamie Meyer, I had one of those little kid moments where I was just like, but I couldn't let them know that, right? And then so I said, hey, I'm Johnny D. And Jeff Andrews looks at me and goes, Johnny, I know who you are.
That's
and
awesome.
I was like a little kid. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, the president of Hendrick Motorsports knows who I am. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like cool that those kind of people were so easy to talk to. Like, and they were talking to everybody, not just me. I mean, they were out on the floor, working the floor and having fun with people. But I just had one of those little kid moments. Awesome. I was like, oh my God, Jeff Andrews knows who I am.
Yeah. No, and they were there. They were on the floor. I brought a couple suppliers over that wanted to talk to Jeff, and he spent a lot of time with them.
What were the top 3 standout moments or wins from the HPX Expo for you personally?
We've touched on a couple of these, right? Like just the opening of the show, just the realization that 2 years of planning, incredible amount of people that were coming together to actually start the first automotive aftermarket trade show since 1962.
Were you nervous at all?
Hell yeah, I was nervous. Are you kidding me? Like, there's a lot of personal risk in this, right?
Right, yeah.
And these are industry friends and folks that had done huge favors and spent, I'll say, millions of dollars for some of these companies to get to the High Performance Expo. So yeah, it was nervous. I think I knew by Sunday, Monday, as people were setting up, I'm like, okay, this has already got a vibe. Because this, like, the best day, and maybe folks listening don't realize it, but the best day for a trade show is the first day of setup.
Right.
Because nobody's there except people setting up.
Right.
That was the vibe that we carried through.
And I saw you that day. I saw you that Monday, and you were talking to, I believe his name was Brian from one of the banks. And, again, everybody was smiling, setting up. I mean, it wasn't your traditional trade show. I was like, from that Monday of people setting up, you just felt something good. Okay, so you gave me one. What are 2 other takeaways that you were like, this was cool?
My other 2 are the opening session and the closing session, right? The opening session with the Hendrick leadership, with Winston Kelly from the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
God, he's so good.
He himself is an icon, but you got Jeff Gordon, J.B. Brown. You had Scott Lampe, the CFO and the president of a Hendrick Technologies coming right. So you got, please understand, folks who listen to this, like, these are royalty in the automotive industry, right? And to have Jeff Gordon and J.B. Brown talk about culture and how Rick Hendrick leads a multi-billion-dollar global industry, right? Like, there were moments during that talk where I was like, wow, like, I need to think a little bit more about how I handle myself around people. And then just stories about how Mr. Hendrick sells things and how he positions the brand, like priceless moments. You can't read that in a book. They were very open and very comfortable, and I loved what they shared with our attendees. It was great.
Yeah, Jeff and the guys, I mean, when they can hold my attention for 55 minutes, I know that they're doing something right.
Yeah, like a pin drop, right? Like, tell me more. Like, I can't get
like, just about enough. Rick Hendrick, I think about this when you're talking about that. The one thing that they said over and over, didn't matter who you talk to from Hendrick, is he treats everybody like his son or his daughter. He's respectful, and that's one thing because after HPX, I went right to Michigan International Raceway to interview the drivers, and I was able to talk to Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott and I believe Alex Bowman that weekend, and I asked them some of the same things, and they said the exact same thing, and it's not phony.
Yeah. Look, I've had conversations with people in this industry, and we've talked about the magic of Rick Hendrick, right? And there's something about this gentleman that just carries through a massive organization. Please understand how big the footprint is that this guy covers. And you're right, top to bottom, they love Rick Hendrick. They want him to win, and they will do whatever it takes to see the team succeed for him.
Right.
I'm telling you, if you're a people leader, if you own a company, study that model. It will pay off for you big time.
It's a life lesson, right? You treat people the way you want to be treated, and that's what I took away from that. What was there a particular speaker or breakout session that that personally moved you? I know we kind of just talked about that, but was there something else that you were like, you know what, I wasn't expecting this?
We'd been asked by multiple companies to do a state of the industry panel, right? Yeah. So there were people that I approached, and I said, I need no BS experts that will get on stage and talk about your company's taxes, tariffs, the president. Like, I'm going to ask you a bunch of things that affect the business. We had Greg Fernelli from SRI and Stockcar Steel, Paul Fagali, who worked for me at GM, who's gone on to be an AI expert after the Harvard Business School, and Sam Abu-Samad, who is an automotive marketing analyst and is presented as the most quoted person in the entire industry right now.
I was hoping you would bring this up because that's another one that I sat through the whole thing and I did not move. I at times I caught myself not even breathing because like what they were saying was so incredible. And the way that they were delivering the message, and you did a great job asking the hard questions.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted the three of them to talk as if it was after the trade show day and we were all at a bar hanging out and they were friends and they were kind of coaching each other on what to do for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of that, I thought.
You got all of that.
Yeah, it was good.
What's been the feedback since the show?
Yeah, we just had our HPX Advisory Council meeting yesterday, and we've got some amazing folks on there. Doug Evans and Jim Cozy are Hall of Famers, and then Greg Fernelli sits on there. Alba Cologne's on there. Chris Harris from the African American Automotive Association, another great ad. A lot of it was, kind of this, I can't believe you guys did it, kind of a feel to the meeting, right? Like super professional. I don't, maybe you and I haven't talked about that enough, but like when you arrived, everything was beautiful.
Right.
The HPX logos, the color orange, which sounds weird, but it was all incorporated so nicely. The Charlotte Convention Center itself, thank you to the city of Charlotte, because the city was standing tall and looked great, and we had great staff at registration and on the floor. So we had a lot of that feedback. I've had companies tell me I've had three companies, I want to be really clear, I've had three companies tell me they did more than $10 million worth of business on the floor of the High Performance Expo.
Wow.
Because of that show.
That's cool.
Now, look, we've got companies that are also, they want something better or something different, or they wish something. I like that feedback probably more. Right. So I want them to do well. And then we have places we need to improve. I want more of those opportunities. I want 10 companies to tell me that next year, right?
Yeah.
So
I thought it was kind of cool, too, that a lot of the universities and trade schools came there and were talking to the men and women coming through there, the kids coming through there. I just thought that was amazing because it seems that they're not there enough to promote their schools because, being at the racetrack all the time, these kids are getting smart. They're bringing resumes to the racetrack to give to the driver, to give to their boss. And some of these guys, literally are, hiring kids, getting out of school and stuff like that. And I thought that was cool. I don't know whose idea that was, but that was brilliant for you to incorporate these colleges to be there talking to the kids.
Well, I love it. And I think, Johnny, this is a universal challenge for the automotive industry and the automotive aftermarket industry. We've got to keep talented people coming in. So a lot of it is this type of opportunity to tell the story about how cool it is to be in the automotive industry space, right? But again, the Hendrick organization got heavily involved. Hendrick Motorsports early on said, hey, we want to sponsor the recruiting hub, again, just to help you bring that talent into the industry and their facilities as well. So you'll see a lot more of that. Again, I think Jeff Andrews did an awesome job of driving that. We certainly want more kids involved in the High Performance Expo. So folks listen to this and they're a principal of a high school, or they got a bunch of kids that build race cars that they want to bring to a trade show, like get a hold of you or me, and we'll get them passes to come in. And the one thing I want to mention on that recruiting area in Concord, North Carolina, is the new GM organization for the Cadillac F1 race team. Yeah, they were actively recruiting folks to build out their team in Concord, North Carolina. So we had strong F1 representation at the High Performance Expo, which was just cool.
I had a chance to talk with them there, and it was funny because they weren't ready. These kids, like they literally, the kids were there to talk to the kids, right? And I'm like, hey, listen, I'm going to mic you up, and I'm going to ask you some questions. And they're like, can you come back in a couple hours? And it was kind of funny how when you go to these trade shows, you're there to talk to people, but it was kind of funny. Not everybody wanted to be talked to. And these kids are learning that, hey, listen, if I'm going to be a part of this, I better be good on the mic as well, because there's a lot of social media people going through there. And to me, that's free advertising.
Yeah, I think it's a great lesson for folks to be prepared to walk in there. We did have the youngest PhD recipient in the United States, 16-year-old, who was on the floor and he talked to everybody. Right. Great family. We had special programs just for content creators to teach them how to speak on camera and start their own channels and take better pictures. And so it covered, all of the industry. Yeah,
it was awesome. If somebody only saw one photo or clip from HPX 2025, what moment do you hope they saw? And I just thought, while you're thinking about that, I thought that was an awesome question that came in on social media. And because there are so many great moments, and if people are not following HPX on social, make sure you go to the High Performance Expo. All their social channels are there. TheHPX.com is their website. And follow them on social, because there are so many great nuggets that are still coming out.
Don't worry. We'll get right back to the Outstanding Life podcast with Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy, right after this message. So, you need a dynamic, interesting, audience attention-grabbing speaker for your conference. You need Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. Your event attendees will get the life-changing solutions and contagious energy they need to live their best lives. Whoever your audience is, from children at school assemblies to seasoned professionals at corporate gigs, Johnny D delivers. Book Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy, today at motivationalcowboy.com.
Was there one photo or one clip that just really, really sticks in your head, or one that just sticks in your head right now?
Yeah, I look, in the promise of a new trade show with new opportunities. That's how I'm going to answer this question, right? Which is, when I look at Darren Poole Adams and some of the images of him unveiling a new Toyota race car, first ever Supra to compete in NHRA Stock Eliminator. Darren's been with us in the Copo Camaro program. We've been friends for a long time. That was a huge effort. The car's branded with the High Performance Expo logo because he just loves the concept so much. And he started a company around the parts that he had to develop. So I look at that and I'm like, man, new car, new racing program, and a new company, all because of this trade show. For me, that's gold for me. And we will do more of that. I'll work to help other small companies or big companies launch product like that. That was really fun for me.
Your company that did all of your stuff, Driveline Studios, it was really cool. They put out this little car, and it was like it looked like a little matchbox. And then the next clip, was the race car. And it was just so cool. And then you talking about it, I mean, you had to be there, right? And I hope that everybody gets a chance to go there next year. Let's talk about your team. How did you bring together a powerhouse crew that made HPX possible? Because you already said it, you brought up Jennifer, but there was so many more people that I want you to talk about. And how did you guys come up with this team? I mean, because they were from all over the place. They weren't just from Detroit. I mean, they were from Texas, and they were from here and there and everywhere else.
First thing, it's going to start with Jen Hoff, and there's a lady named Jen Heinhold, which I don't think you met, Jen,
No.
but she was one of the generals at Taffy, which is the parent company that really got things going. Sold it to the North Carolina Motorsports Association, really got things rolling. She moved on to another position, but then Dana Teague, Pamela Miller, Kelly Williamson, right? That trade show side was really brought in by Taffy from years of working with folks in the trade show industry. On the automotive side, we got folks like you, Driveline Studios, as a creative agency, but also strategic thinkers on where's this market going.
Yeah.
The branding, right, from scratch, right? This name didn't even exist a year and a half ago of the High Performance Expo. And then really Pam and Dan Flores that run Team Flores, which is a communications agency here in Detroit, right? Between them, 50 years of experience with automotive giants in Detroit, right? So incredible feel for the auto industry, and then relentless with the press releases. The reason you saw so much High Performance Expo stuff was, Pam and Dan just grinding it, and all the Driveline Studios emails and all the stuff that made it happen. So,
what values or mindsets do you look for when you're building a team? I mean, this wasn't the only team you've built. I mean, you've been building teams for a long time, but when you want to build a team, what do you look for?
I think above all, it's passion right now. You got to have people around you that are just totally on board and really want to see the goal met.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter background or degrees or age or any variable. We have an old interview question we use, which is, what gets you out of bed at 3 a.m. and you can't wait to run out the door to go do something?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they say. It can be anything they love, but if they aren't passionate about something, they'll never realize why we're so crazy about cars or all the off-road truck stuff we do or any of that. So,
it's funny you say about the passion. Being a part of HPX 2025 was absolutely outstanding. But here's the cool part. Like, I literally, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here with me today. Like, I cannot wait for 2026. I got an email from Pam, and she's like, "Hey, you're on board for next year, right?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, I am."
Cool.
And just being able to think about telling so many more people, right? Because it was the first one. It was like, what am I going to do? You're just going to go there and do this? I'm like, okay, but now if you can't tell me, I'm fired up for 2026. Like, I want it to happen like next week.
That's awesome. Well, you do. And the team came together not even a year ago, right? So, like, you were late to the.
Yeah.
When did you start working on HPX?
Well, listen, it was January 17th when I met. I was with Justin and Abby from Driveline Studios, and I met with them at their place, and that was January 17th, and I believe it was a Zoom call with you and Dana and Pamela.
Yeah.
And in January, and then it was just like, shooting videos and stuff like that. But now it's like, the cool part for me is like, now people are talking about it. Like, they're like, I can't believe I missed it. And I'm like, yeah, well, you get a chance for next year.
Well, I think it's even more basic. It was a concept until 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now
it's amazing.
You have a product to talk about. You have an experience to share.
So the first one is done in the books.
Yeah.
What does 2026 look like?
Yeah, I mean, we're already running.
Are we going to have one for 2026?
Yeah. You're definitely going to have a High Performance Expo in 26. It'll be in June. We're looking at changing up the days, and we're looking at the hours of the show. I joked about it earlier, right? 8 o'clock was a little bit early.
Right.
All right. Well, what if we start at noon and go till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night?
Right.
Charlotte's a really cool city once you get in there.
Yeah.
There's a barrier. The traffic is kind of tough, little things, but you have to think about that. That's just good customer service. It's not about us. It's about them, right?
100%.
So,
I will say, compared to other trade shows, it was nice having the hours the way that they were. I mean, there was a lot put into a small number of hours. And that was really cool, at least from a guy that was working the floor.
This is a business meeting right now. So you look at the people that came there, there's more than half the attendees were C-suite executives or presidents or vice presidents or higher. So to let them run their business from, say, 7 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, and then go to a trade show where they can relax a little bit but have a meaningful business meeting. We think that's the right move to give those types of folks more chance to do more deals.
So you have a team like this. How do you keep your team motivated and inspired? I mean, because, you said it. Planning with long hours, people are freaking out. People are not freaking out. There's a lot of money being spent and everything else. How did you keep the team motivated and inspired to keep going? Or matter of fact, even yourself, right?
Yeah, it's for me, right? I'm the consultant on this, so the day-to-day folks, really Dana Teague, the general manager, is really driving it, right? And there's really hardcore daily agendas. For me, I just want to make sure that the team is on the right path, right? And right now is a really critical time because we're having those adjustment conversations, just like we went through. Like, what's the right thing for the audience we're going after? This is not to be taken lightly. Now that we have a product, it's a big deal. Right. We can talk strategically about the product and how we have to change it. We're definitely adjusting the customer that we're going after. And meaning, I won't be so cryptic, right? Like, how do we get more qualified students on the trade show floor? And then how do we get the highly coveted business owners and the entrepreneurs, small business, big business decision makers?
Don't you think that that's going to be easier now because you have a product to show them? Before it was a concept.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm really emphasizing that. But look, if you know this, if you're running a business, you got less time in the day than the average person, right? And you can only spend time at so many trade show type opportunities. I'll say so many out of the box business days, right? So we've got to make max value and make it work for more people.
This question came in on social media, and I couldn't wait to ask you, Dr. Jamie Meyer. What was the most surprising thing that you learned about yourself during this journey?
I'm in a transition phase where I have worked for big companies for many years. Mm-hmm. And I'm now in a position where I'm consulting for many companies, big multi-billion-dollar companies and little mom and pop companies that just need a shot on the arm to get to be mid-sized companies. For me, this checked a big personal box that I could help this team and deliver on just an outrageous concept for the automotive industry. And I candidly, not that I ever doubted myself or ever will, but this reinforces you can do big projects when you pull something like this off.
I love it. Hey, was there like any oh no moments or challenges behind the scenes that actually turned into lessons or maybe even blessings that you can share with us?
I think part one of that is, there were a lot of people that I approached to come to the High Performance Expo that said, this isn't the year for us, or I don't think I ever got like a flat out, no, you're crazy, but more, let me see how the first year goes.
Yeah.
You know this, you've been in sales forever. I like the saying that every no leads to a yes.
Right.
But now it's the follow-up, right? Like, there's state of the industry people and the closing session people that were invited. I don't want to name the companies, but really state of the art out there kind of tech companies that the auto industry really doesn't think about.
Right.
They were tentative yeses. They didn't make it, but it will turn into a blessing because now we can share what the first year was like. And I know second year it'll be easier to get that yes. Right. And the more of those people that come in, right, it's a snowball effect and it'll be a better show for everybody.
What was it like making that first phone call to that first company, asking them if they wanted to come for you personally?
No, I remember I had a Zoom call with Nikki Fowler and Keith Wilson and the Scoggin Dickey team. They're a top Chevrolet parts dealer. Nikki Fowler is a tough business guy, and he asks us very difficult questions. And I had Pamela Miller and Billy Rick. We haven't talked about Billy, our sales director, but Billy just did an incredible job of staying connected with everybody from the auto industry. And Billy's on the call, and, Nicky's firm but fair, right?
Right,
I could say it other ways, but, he really got into us. And we got done with the call. It ended with Nicky saying, yeah, we'll take a 10 by 10 spot, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you a try. That's just a relationship. It was a concept in that call, right?
Yeah.
And I remember having the follow-up with Billy and Pamela, and they were just, like, holy smokes. And I'm like, no. Like, look at all we just learned. Look at the gift that Skog and Dickey just gave us.
That's right, yeah.
Hey, it's got to be this for them. It's got to be, listed out their demands. Awesome. We can run wild with that. Let's get another call. This is great.
Right. Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody looking to create a big, bold event like HPX? Because there are dreamers out there, right? And it might not be in the automotive industry, but what do you tell those people that just have a concept in their head going, you know what? I want to try this. What do you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, the best advice, and I think a lot of people give this, right, is just go for it. And I say that cautiously, like, work on your plan every day. I think you met them, but I had 3 of my 5 nephews working the floor,
Yes.
which were like 25-year-old maniacs.
Yes,
right? And
they were great.
I yell at these kids all the time, and I'm like, you guys got a side hustle in this world. So so if somebody's got a crazy idea, find a job that you can survive at or do, or, stay where you are. Don't make a big jump, but if you side hustle hard enough, that'll eventually become your career.
Yeah.
And it'll be something you're really passionate about.
And surround yourself with the right people, correct?
Yeah, incredibly
you know
important.
What I mean?
Incredibly. That's why I like hanging out with you.
Of course. You're just such a motivating person. You need a little bit more pick me up, right?
I don't know if I can take much more of this, but yeah, okay.
Hey, looking back now, what would you do differently, if anything?
I have a list of what the whole vision was or could be. And then there's what was produced 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. So for me, it's how do I bring all of the stuff behind the curtain to that show that we just didn't have time or connections or trusted development business relations yet.
Yeah.
So I would say there's a lot of stuff that's still in development that will.
Really? Now, I mean, again, right? I'm the guy that walked in and it was all set up. So just you saying that, because I mean, a guy walking in going, "Oh my gosh, the stage was beautiful, everything was lit up, nice."
Yeah, I'll give you 2 examples, right? I'll tell you 2 people that we courted that said yes and then had scheduling conflicts at the last minute. One of them was Slate, which is this crazy Amazon-backed electric car company.
Okay.
For $20,000. The other is Archer, which may not be on your radar, but I know Adam Goldstein, the owner, quite well because I worked with him on another project before 2020. Archer is a flying car company.
Oh, wow.
They're real, and they're VTOLs, vertical takeoff and landing. They said yes, and then the 60 Minutes show came out where they're now involved in some military operations with another partner company.
Okay.
And I think everything went crazy for them in a good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fully intended to have flying cars at the High Performance Expo.
Wow. Next year?
I'll say, yeah, we're going one way or another.
Perfect.
We're going to flying cars at High Performance Expo.
You guys heard it. I'm just saying. What's something fun or unexpected that you got to do at the expo that just really made you smile?
Watching Richard Petty take the cover off of a Charger, and I just want to do burnouts with him in that thing in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like, Wait,
did you just say that you did burnouts with him?
No, I wish I could have.
Oh, right.
It
You were thinking of
made
it.
me like, oh my, I just want to go street
felt like a
racing.
kid.
Yeah, like that for me, the joy of the belt buckle and the hat, the presence that guy has, and he's still slinging Chargers with Hemi engines.
Yeah.
It's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So.
Talking about Richard Petty, people often ask, the question, who do you have the most fun with interviewing? I've interviewed so many NASCAR drivers over the 20-some years I've been doing it. And he's just one of those guys. I mean, I look at pictures. Like I go out to one of my man cave, I should say, and I sometimes when I'm having one of those down times, I just go out and I look at pictures of people I got to hang out with, and I thought, this is cool. And then all of a sudden I start smiling. I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm still doing it after all these years. But Richard Petty's just one of those ones you still feel like a kid. You know what I mean? It's like,
unbelievable.
I don't feel like it when I'm doing the interview with him, but when I'm looking back and seeing the video, or you're seeing the pictures, I'm like I was just with royalty. And he's just such a cool dude.
Yeah.
Do you ever get starstruck? I mean, you've met so many people throughout the years. Do you ever get starstruck?
There's moments, right, where you start thinking about the impact of you and me, of our lives, right? If Richard Petty doesn't do what he does, if Jeff Gordon doesn't do what he did, if Rick Hendrick never opens up a second dealership, like what has happened for us to have this opportunity to talk about a trade show in Charlotte?
Yeah.
You realize it's because that guy killed himself racing cars. Yeah, I don't mean that literally, but really worked himself hard to go make a better life for us. So,
and he still looks like $1 million though. Hey, when you're not building next level events, how do you recharge and stay high performing yourself?
I'll tell you something I reflect on that I've never talked about this before, but I will text people that I haven't talked to in 2 or 3 years for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Never because I need something from them. It's literally just, hey, you remember that time we wrecked that rental car at a Mustang drag race and you and I laughed for 2 weeks afterwards?
Yeah.
Like, just thought of that. Just have a great day. Like, just, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I get enjoyment and I get recharged to hear about how my people are doing.
I talk about it in my keynote speeches. I tell people, I say, text 3 people right now. And maybe those of you that are listening right now, I mean, maybe this is something I want you to do, just make sure you're not driving. But, text 3 people and just tell them to have an outstanding day. It might be somebody that you just left this morning. It might be somebody that you haven't talked to in years, just like you just said. I guarantee you're going to make somebody's day, because you never know when you're going to impact somebody's life. And just for the record, those of you that are listening, I've never gotten a text message yet from Dr. Jamie Meyer. So, I have bad days too. I'm just saying, brother. I mean, or maybe you just don't have my phone number. I don't know, but
I'm gonna light you up for the next 2 months. So just so you know, it's a mean city for you, pal. So.
I love it. So I love that. If the High Performance Expo had an official pace car, what do you think it should be, and who would be driving it?
Whew. I mean, it's tough because it's all-inclusive event. It's hard to pick one manufacturer. So. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have a mashup of every vehicle in the auto industry, and who would be driving it? It'd be
you.
No, I'd probably Dana, like one of the trade show people that are known to race cars, and just see how quick it would take them to smash it up. That'd be fun to watch.
What does living the outstanding life mean to you personally?
Well, I think we're of the age where you can start reflecting back a little bit. So for me, it's making sure you learn from everything you've done and try to apply that going forward. And then I'm also in a position where, like I said, I've got these 5 nephews who are in their early 20s, and they're we all make major life decisions about that time, and I want to be the uncle that's there that they can talk to and make sure those kids at least get an opinion. I would never frame it up where this is what you have to do, but to always give them an alternative choice.
Well, I hope that they listen to this podcast, because as an uncle, and I know you're the cool uncle, but you actually made those kids work. I mean, every time I seen them on the floor, they were working. And I will say this too, and I hope that they listen to this, because your nephews were so polite and so caring, Thank you. Nice. And I just want to say, job well done.
Thank you. I think actually most of the motivation was Aunt Tina was after him nonstop. So I'll give her full credit. But no,
I love it.
Yeah, Parker and Colin and Connor were there, and they did a great job, and immediately couldn't wait to get back. Right. So I learned from them. Right. If we aren't touching the heart of a 25-year-old, no business is going to work. Right.
100%.
You have to take that generation into consideration.
So, Dr. Jamie Meyer, I have to ask, do you own a high-performance car yourself?
Yeah, I do. I love cars. I've got several. I'm going to list them off, right?
Okay,
I
please.
still have my 1986 Mustang GT that my mom and dad gave me as a high school graduation present. It's got 29,000 miles on it. It's awesome. Probably my favorite one is my C7 Z06, 2019 Z06. I love that car. It's fast as hell. I got one of the last Trackhawks ever built.
Really?
Yeah, my friend Mark Whitney at Mopar helped get an order in for me, so I have a Trackhawk with 650 miles on it. And then my daily right now is a Fox Factory Super Truck Silverado with 710 horsepower.
Yeah, that's the one you pulled up today. I mean, so that's super sweet.
It's crazy cool. Fox Factory Super Truck. Look it up. It's the craziest thing ever made.
You know, and again, you didn't ask me, hey, Johnny, you said to Abby from Driveline Studios today, you said, Abby, here's the keys. Go take it for a ride. But it was funny how I didn't get asked to take the truck for a ride.
Yeah, dude, you wear a cowboy hat and yell yeehaw all the time like you're not getting the keys, okay? So
it's only 750 some horsepower, right? If you could take one dream car out on the track for one day, no speed limits, no rules, what would it be and why?
So my track would be a quarter mile. I'm a drag racer, so
okay.
I would pick the drag strip. And I'd probably get an early supercharged Copo right from 2011, 2012. We released them first year. And just have a fun day, you know, running mid-eights with a factory car.
What's the fastest you've ever been in the car?
I got an NHRA license in 2000 from Frank Hawley drag school, and his cars were running 960s at the time. And I've had several low 11, high 10-second cars that I just were street cars, but mid-nines is my answer.
So when's the last time you got a ticket then?
Man, it's been a while, and thanks for jinxing me. This is a great interview you got going here, Johnny. It's been over 10 years. I'm pretty laid back.
You like having the horsepower, but you don't like abusing it on the road.
I think at our level, our experience level, we know when to.
I'm done getting tickets.
Know when to hold them and know when to show them, right? So.
Well, here's my thing is all of the police officers that I know that got me out of things are now retired.
Yeah,
so it's like
you got to be careful.
Hey, listen, which car do you think best represents your personality? Would it be sleek and smooth, bold and powerful? Maybe a little bit of both.
One of my favorite cars would be like a 1987 Mustang 5-liter notchback. Lots of power with loads of potential.
I like that.
See what I did there?
You know, I was on a podcast not long ago, somebody else's show, and they asked me a question kind of like that, right? They said, if you were a vehicle, what kind of vehicle would you be? And this what came out of my mouth.
What'd you say?
I said I'd be a truck because I'm reliable,
yeah.
I'm dependable, and I'm always there for a friend because everybody asks their buddies that with a truck, hey, can I borrow your truck?
That's a good one. I like that.
So, yeah. Hey, if you could build a custom high-performance vehicle, what would you name it and what would it look like? Just paint the picture for us.
Well, I mean, immediately I think of the one project at GM that I didn't get done, which was we had launched the Copo Camaro, which was an off-highway use only, sold as a part number drag car, right? The owner had the buyer.
That was sweet. I was a part of that.
Well, it was a crazy project, and we had put in a proposal to do a street legal version of that thing.
Oh, so really?
Think of a Hellcat Red Eye fighter.
Yes.
And we just, if you go back and if you really pay attention to Chevrolet Performance, you'll see some parts that came out as kind of a Camaro drag car program, and that was the best we could do. There was just some obstacles to get it done, but a street legal Copo Camaro sold with drag radials, something in the 800 horsepower range. I'd love to do that.
I couldn't wait to ask you this question. Have you ever had a moment where you pushed a car to the limits and thought, this is what high performance is all about?
Yeah, I mean, when you say that, I'm thinking about Spring Mountain, which is this crazy race facility in Nevada outside of Las Vegas, and we would do media events there. You can go to the Corvette school at Spring Mountain. I think Cadillac is still involved there. And I remember I'm not a road racer. I'm out in the Corvettes. I'm trying my best. Apparently there are lines that you're supposed to follow when you're driving around corners or something. And I remember at dinner, the track owner's wife had been watching some of the video, and she was like, who was driving the red car? Because you really missed the line on turn 3 and 4. And I just remember Yeah, man. Like I tried really hard. This is going to take me a while to figure out this road racing thing, but I learned a lot of respect and, like those types of opportunities, people that are into cars, go get training, go to a track day and get into somebody else's car that you know the capabilities and safety. But yeah, that for me was where I pushed it. And I'm like, I need to study this a lot.
Cool.
harder.
So when's the next time we're going to go to the track then? I mean, you have these vehicles. So I just thought, he just said, go with a friend, right? So are you inviting me?
Yeah, let's pick a day at my own and we'll go drag racing. That would be fun. Yeah, I'll do that with you. Let's go.
I'll just be shotgun. Listen, I did the Richard Petty driving experience one time, and I realized right then and there, this was at Daytona, and I said, I love talking about cars. That's the last time I'll do that. I mean, it just wasn't my thing, right? You know what I mean? I
do.
It's crazy. 180 miles per hour. I was like, no. Hey, listen, what's your go-to road trip car? I mean, we're talking high performance, but when you just want to take a nice road trip, what do you take? What do you have?
Man, I'll tell you, I don't think people talk about Tahoes enough and the big luxury SUVs, right? And just, I had a company Tahoe, and I think I did like a 10-hour drive in it. I wasn't exhausted, which that's first time that's ever happened in my life. But I would say big company Tahoe. I don't really like Corvettes for long drives. I'm just too tall to be comfortable in the tight, sports car stuff.
So the Tahoe, I'm just curious, what's the one thing that you love about that Tahoe? Is it the air conditioning seats? Is that what it is?
I think it's the room. I think GM's got it figured out. They're all the companies have put heavy development money in their big SUVs.
Yeah, 100%.
I just have a lot more time on a Tahoe.
I couldn't wait to ask you this question. I'll wrap it up with this question right here. And if you could have dinner with one legendary car figure, who would it be and why?
Donald Trump, car collector.
Okay.
I'd love to have a 10 minutes with the president. That'd be fun.
Really?
Hell yeah.
And I'm just curious, what kind of car would you want to bring up? Like, do you even know what's in his car collection?
Yeah, I think there's multiple Lamborghinis and kind of status symbol kind of stuff in his past, but it'd be more about his thoughts on the auto industry, his thoughts on racing. Right, we've seen him take the presidential limo to the Daytona 500. I think that's what a sign of support for this industry.
Exactly.
Right? So.
Dr. Jamie Meyer, I can't thank you enough for being here on the Outstanding Life podcast, hanging out. I just want to say thanks, man. Any last comments that you'd like to tell the listeners?
No, I want to thank you, and it's a pleasure hanging out with you, and I appreciate what you do for individuals and the industry, the automotive industry, the racing industry that you and I love. So thank you for what you do. Keep it going.
Absolutely. This was an outstanding conversation with Dr. Jamie Meyer. If HPX 2025 taught us anything, it's that when passion meets purpose, incredible things happen. Remember, surround yourself with people who lift you up. Dream big and never settle for average. Until next time, keep living your outstanding life, one bold step at a time. I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy, telling you, be safe, have fun, and have yourself an outstanding day. We'll see you next time right here on the Outstanding Life podcast.
Hey, I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. Let me ask you, are you planning a conference, convention, meeting, assembly, or any live event that needs a guest speaker? Man, I would love to be a part of it. For more information, visit motivationalcowboy.com. And don't forget to check out my Outstanding Life podcast every Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right here on Dirt Road, KYDT 103.1 FM. I'm Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy, telling you, be safe, have fun, and have yourself an outstanding day.
Thanks for listening to the Outstanding Life podcast. Follow Johnny D on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Motivational Cowboy. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, advertise, or would like to make a donation, please visit motivationalcowboy.com. And remember to have an outstanding day.